First, it's time that we, as a country, we've got to have a difficult conversation, and it's about the President of the United States, Joe Biden. Watch this.
I'm also sending to Congress a comprehensive package of that will enhance our underlying effort to accommodate the Russian oligarchs and make sure we take their ill-begotten gains. We're going to accommodate them. We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. The guys who are the kleptocracies. But these are bad guys. Sending to Congress.
Forget that this is really embarrassing and humiliating for the country. This is bad for him. This is bad for the free world and the world's hostile actors, from Russia to China to Iran to North Korea and everyone else in between. They're witnessing it, and they've already made the same determination as most of the American people. What we are witnessing is a downward trajectory of a man that is obviously, clearly, transparently not well, and it's getting worse every day. Here are just a few more recent examples. Take a look.
Maine, New Hampshire, America have gone on the mend. They're not on the mend any longer. They're on the move. Please sit down. I'm Jill's husband. And Naomi Biden's grandfather. Senator Duckworth introduced her to 11-year-old, is it Vivian? Vivian. I'm sorry, Vivian. A woman who just died, the Secretary of State, used to have an expression. She said, "We are the essential nation." The First Lady's husband contracting COVID, but look at this room and what you see. Pardon? That's right. She's fine. Me. Let's not forget it. The second lady, the first gentleman, and a pound of Ukrainian people, proud people, pound for pound, ready to fight with every inch of energy they have.
And don't forget, come on, man, are you a junkie? Oh, there's truth to be said by men and women created equal and endowed by the thing. Oh, you know the thing. Look at this compilation put together by the RNC. Think of it and ask yourself the question, the honest question. Is he up to the job, the toughest job in the world, of being the President of the United States? Watch.
But the nature, not when the political coverage, look, some of the political players and some of the let me ask a rhetorical question. No, anyway.
It's clear the president struggles with the basic functions of life. He struggles to walk. He struggles to talk. He is confused. He's often agitated. He forgets names and dates and places. He averages less than one public event every day, and his staff works triple overtime to block unscheduled questions or impromptu interactions without the general public, without days and days and days and days and days of preparation and sleep and rest. And God only knows what else is going on behind the scenes. When are we just going to acknowledge the obvious? Joe Biden is not capable of doing this job. Now, some of you might think that's mean. I'll explain in a moment. The Democrats raise this question quite a bit. Now, we have a 25th Amendment to the Constitution. It was brought up often during the Trump presidency. It says, if the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume powers and duties of the office as acting president. Now, this could be triggered by the president himself or the vice president, along with the majority of the cabinet. I'd like to remind all you liberals out there saying, Hannity's calling for the 25th Amendment. No, I'm not saying that, but I think we need to pay very close attention to what's going on. But if you're watching you might want to remember, you were the biggest fans on the left, weren't you, in the media mob of the 25th Amendment? Under Reagan and then during the McCain campaign, you brought up the age issue quite often. You did it during all of those moments. Democrats were eager to raise questions about their political opponent's age, mental fitness for office. Under Donald Trump, they frequently called for the 25th Amendment just because they didn't like him, despite the former president's obvious keen mental acuity, incredible stamina. He comes on this show, speaks 45 minutes, no notes. God bless you, God bless America. And he can talk fluently on every single topic with no preparation. It is now past time for everyone to ask the same question about Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden mentally fit to serve? The majority of the American people, they've been asked, they say no. Look at this new Harvard-Harris poll. 53%. Yeah, they see what we see. They doubt Joe's mental abilities. And I agree with the American people. I do not believe he is fit to serve, and it's getting worse. So, will his cabinet kick him to the curb? Probably not. And do I think Kamala Harris is particularly a great replacement? Nope, that's scary in other ways. But at the very least, isn't it time now that the American public demand that the President of the United States takes a real cognitive test and release those results to the public? Now, President Trump did it with no problem, and he was told when he took the test, whatever the results are, they will be made public. He took it, he aced the test 30 out of 30. President Biden refuses to take this test because everyone around him, and we know the enablers are all around him, even being saved by the Easter Bunny, they know he would fail. We are living in deeply troubling, dangerous times, and it's bad for our allies, it is bad for the world, it is bad for all of us to have this cognitive wreck as a president and those around him with radical, beyond belief ideas that are now whoever's making the decisions, the ones that say, tell Joe, I'm not allowed to take a question. They get really mad at me and everything. Now, yesterday, just days after Elon Musk, so we have to ask that question. We will tonight. Now, days after Elon Musk successfully purchased Twitter. By the way, I went from 5.5 million followers to 5.7 something. I'm very grateful. Anyway, they vowed to restore free speech on the platform. The DHS Secretary, Mayorkas, proudly announced the brand new government Ministry of Truth named the Disinformation Governance Board. Take a look at this.
A just recently constituted disinformation governance board. So we're bringing, the goal is to bring the resources of the department together to address this threat.
In the United States of America, guess what? The government is not the almighty bearer of truth. They're not allowed to police your thoughts, your opinions, your expressions. That's what we see in countries like Iran and China and, Venezuela and every other authoritarian government that tries to squash any and all dissent. It's wrong, it's creepy, it's dangerous, it's 1984-ish, and it is yet another example that shows the Democrats' real problem is with the concept of freedom itself. So I want to remind the left that we have something called the First Amendment. That prevents the government from prohibiting the free exercise of speech or of the press. By the way, I'm a proud member of the press. We do journalism. I've got thousands of hours. We do investigative journalism. We do opinion. We're upfront about it. We tell you I'm a registered conservative. I tell you who I like, who I don't like. I don't hide my opinions. Then we do culture and sports. We're like a whole newspaper on this show. Everyone claims to be a journalist. They're all lying. By the way, not government-approved speech. As a matter of fact, often government-disapproved speech on this program, or Democratic-approved speech, or all speech, with few exceptions. Now, they don't seem to care about the First Amendment only when it perfectly aligns with their own values. America's fragile Democrats fear dissent. They obviously hate opposing views. Why didn't they speak out when Donald Trump and other conservatives were canceled by big tech? Why did they not allow even somebody on platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram to even send out the New York Post story on Hunter Biden's laptop? Now, this is why Mayorkas tapped, get this, a far-left individual to lead our Ministry of Truth. Professional academic, her name is Nina Jankowicz, is now the administration's official purveyor of truth in charge of combating so-called dangerous misinformation. Now, unfortunately, she has her own history of spreading disinformation online. During the 2020 campaign, she called the accurate New York Post report on Hunter Biden's laptop a, quote, product of the Trump campaign. Lie, and referred to it as a fairy tale about a laptop repair shop. She also, by the way, heaped praise on Dirty Dossier author Christopher Steele. And now she really doesn't seem to care for Elon Musk or freedom of speech on Twitter. In an interview with NPR, she stated, quote, I shudder to think about if free speech absolutists were taking over more platforms, what that would look like for the marginalized communities. Oh, would that include conservatives that have been shut down, shut out, canceled, suspended all over social media? Now, I shudder to think about, who are going to be the woke leftists that Nina, who's woke herself, would appoint to fill out this disinformation governance board. Will conspiracy theorists, why don't you get the biggest conspiracy theorist in the country, her, Rachel Maddow? She going to join? What about fake news CNN's hall monitor, Humpty the Dumpty, or the congenital liar, Adam Schiff? Elizabeth Warren faked her race for decades to advance her career. Is she now going to be in charge of rooting out misinformation? Now, more seriously, this board, will they ever dare call out any of the lies of the left, the 3 years of Russia collusion lies? The Hunter Biden laptop was true? The answer is no. Ultimately, this is merely yet another attempt to silence conservatives. Democrats yearn for the days of the fairness doctrine. They want talk radio shut down. They want Fox News out of business. They want Republicans run out of town. They want a world where there is no dissent. That's why they never complained when Donald Trump was canceled. My question tonight to everybody watching, do you want to live in a free country? Do you believe in freedom? Because make no mistake, I would not be here without it. I would not be allowed to give this monologue in a lot of countries around the world. I believe in freedom of speech, whether they're attacking me or not attacking me. Slander's different, libel's different. That's not what I'm talking about. Someone's opinion, I hate that Hannity guy. Okay, fine, you hate me. I love you back. Anyway, on the radio, TV, all the people that hate me in the media mob, everyone else in America, you know what? Is this what we really want to turn our country into? This creepy government ministry of truth. It has no place in our great country. Here with reaction. Former Democratic Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard is with us. How do you feel? How do you feel about the ministry of truth?
This is the kind of thing that you see in dictatorships, this ministry of truth, this department of propaganda that the Biden administration has just stood up. And the reason why you see this in dictatorships is because they're afraid of us. They're afraid of the people. They're afraid that we might actually think for ourselves. And so now they've created this body that will do two things. Number one, it'll use taxpayer dollars to work through the mainstream media and flood the airwaves with whatever their propaganda narrative is that they're pushing at any given time and try to drown out anyone with alternate views. And number two, they will silence dissenting voices through intimidation. I think the thing to recognize with this, just real quick, is that this isn't something new. This is something that they have already been doing, that's happening right now. The only difference is they're formalizing it, making it official, which if there's a silver lining in this, it is they're revealing exactly who they are and why they're doing it, what they're trying to accomplish, and it allows us, the American people, to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We're not going to let you get away with this crap. We will take a stand, we will reject it, and we will throw out of office those who are continuing to push and propagate this undemocratic, anti-free speech mission.
I showed tapes of Joe Biden. I'm going to show you tapes of Joe Biden in 2008 and 12 and 16. And then I have a question on the other side.
In our bilateral relationships with nations with whom we deal and have serious trade deficits, we have to be willing to put more cards on the table. Now they got a new plan. Trust me, it's not going to cost you any more. Folks, follow your instincts on this one. They put one foot in front of the other. They keep going. That's the unbreakable spirit of the people of America. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. I want to thank the former general. I keep calling him general, but the guy who runs that outfit over there.
I know you probably don't want this question. You're you're a Democratic Party member. Do you see a precipitous cognitive decline in Joe Biden?
I think it's distressing, Sean, to see that. I think that it's important